So, more big time moves in the portal that we need to talk about. LSU continuing to add in talent via the transfer portal. And we need to talk about what this means for Kelly in his first year as well. Lincoln Riley adding in another wide receiver for the Trojans, trying to replace London's production from a year ago. And we need to talk about why. This one is a big addition. Before we do, as always, you know the drill. I want to hear from you. Hop down to the comment. Give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Do you believe your team continues to get better by using the transfer portal? And then let me know what your favorite addition is thus far. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification. I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it, and if you enjoy the content, like and comment down below. Those interactions are massive to content creators such as myself in both getting picked up and maintained by the YouTube algorithm. But with all of that being said, let's hop right into this because we have a fair bit to talk about, and we will start with LSU and Kelly adding in another talented player via the portal. And yes, LSU has lost players to the transfer portal, but as I always say, this situation goes both ways. And if you are going to lose players to the portal, you might as well use the portal to try and get some talented players, and that's exactly what Kelly has been able to do in his first year as the LSU head coach, and it hasn't even been a full year yet. But it's a great way to try and get in players that have experience that can help you ease your transition. And today, they continue that, getting in Mekhi Wingo, transferring from Missouri to LSU. And this is a major win because Wingo was a freshman all-SEC defensive lineman, and now they can pair him alongside Mason Smith, and that's going to be a really fun duo to watch. But the wins for LSU are not just relegated to Wingo in the portal. I mean, if we look from top to bottom, LSU has done a really good job, from Greg Brooks Jr. and Joe Fouché from Arkansas going to LSU, providing them depth at the cornerback position. LSU losing some corners to the transfer portal, namely Eli Ricks, being able to use that portal to get in some experienced defensive backs who played good college football for the Arkansas Razorbacks is a major win. But it doesn't just stop there, because, I mean, we can talk about Noah Cain from Penn State to LSU, a very talented running back, very highly touted coming out of high school, looking to come in and help this transition. To also Kyron Lacey from Louisiana, transferring from Louisiana to LSU, an individual multiple institutions wanted. Oklahoma tried to get Kyron Lacey. Florida tried to get Kyron Lacey. So LSU and Kelly are utilizing the portal in a really positive manner right now. And I've talked before about Brent Venables and Oklahoma really doing good work in the portal, but it's not simply relegated to the Oklahoma Sooners. Other teams are really out there being hyper successful in the portal. We talk about Oklahoma, we can talk about LSU because they've been able to get in a bunch of good players. And one of the ones we haven't even talked about is Miles Frazier, an offensive lineman who is going to have a lot of eyes on him next season because many people expect him to come in and be a major benefit to that offense. So this kind of goes to show that, yes, you can lose players to the portal, but you can also get a ton of talent from the transfer portal. LSU continuing to add in talent, and I think this is going to be really intriguing to see how Kelly's first year as head coach of the Tigers go now that he's in his first year at the SEC. But also, we need to talk about USC and Lincoln Riley, getting in their third wide receiver to try and help ease in Riley's transition. And this is a big win, because now the USC Trojans get in Brenden Rice from Colorado, and yes, this is the son of Jerry Rice. But when we look at this picture in the totality of circumstances, you have Mario Williams coming in, you have Terrell Bynum coming in, you have Brenden Rice coming in. That's a whole lot of talent to try and replicate the production lost by London as he heads to the NFL draft, an individual we absolutely need to watch because he has a bright future ahead of him. But USC has really identified some positive pieces and been able to get and have success in the transfer portal. They're still locked up in a battle for Caleb Williams. That's a situation everybody is watching closely. USC did lose Jackson Dart. They lost their tight end. They've lost players to the portal, but I keep saying this over and over again. I think it's a mistake to not utilize the transfer portal because if you are going to have kids leave, you may as well use the tools that you have at your disposal. And now we can see Lincoln Riley, we can see USC adding in a Mario Williams. a guy everybody wanted out of high school, and now you can get him to USC, a guy who stated he wanted to play with Caleb Williams, kind of giving a good indication that Caleb Williams will be a Trojan. Many expect that to happen, especially when you see the crystal balls inserted on 24/7 Sports. Seems to be a pretty unanimous thought process that Caleb Williams to USC, but in recruiting, nothing is guaranteed, so it is something we have to watch. But nonetheless, all these moves highlight how the portal is such an intriguing part of college football right now, and I know a lot of people are kind of frustrated with the transfer portal, and I can understand that. As an Alabama fan, Alabama has lost a ton of talented players to the portal. Drew Sanders is an individual that I would have loved for my Tide to keep. I think he's got a really bright future ahead of him. He's a very talented player, but he had an unfortunate circumstance of getting hurt and then a true freshman coming in and balling out in Dallas Turner. Dallas Turner ends the year with 8.5 sacks. Drew Sanders knows he's a talented player. Sanders knows he can start somewhere else, so he bets on himself and is now with the Arkansas Razorbacks, something I'm excited to see next year. But likewise, Alabama's in a position where they're set to lose cornerbacks to the NFL in Josh Jobe and possibly Jalen Armour-Davis, and they're able to go out and get Eli Ricks. Alabama needs help at the running back position because of the injuries they sustained this season. They go out and get Jahmyr Gibbs, two of the more talented players in the portal. So I understand being frustrated by it, but it is a tool that your institution can utilize. And as in all things, there will come a point of equalizing in the transfer portal. Right now, it's still new, so it's still being utilized to a high degree. But as in all things, there will become a equalizing point where we kind of see the real effects of the transfer portal and their long-lasting nature. I'm very interested in hearing from y'all. What do you think about the move? Wingo choosing LSU over OU and others. I mean, that guy was being pursued by just about every institution in the nation. Now they get to pair Mason Smith and Wingo. That's going to be a fun duo to watch, a terrible duo to go up against. And USC continuing to add in wide receivers, Mario Williams, Terrell Bynum, and now the son of Jerry Rice, Brenden Rice, who found success with Colorado, and he's a bit of a bigger guy, 6'2", 200 plus pounds, had just shy of 300 yards this year, some touchdowns. So the future is bright for Rice. It's going to be really interesting to see what he can do in Lincoln Riley's offense. Hop down to the comments, let me know what you're thinking. That's it. See ya.